And that is one thing that I work on with my clients is we learn about guarding that first hour of the day and waking up earlier. A lot of my clients are women, they have kids, and so they start with waking up with their kids and their whole day is chaos from there, right? Like you have to make their lunches while you're dealing with them, trying to get them out the door, get to school. It's just nuts. Versus waking up 1 hour before where you just take care of you. You put your phone away, right? You could meditate. You can get your workout in, maybe do a little bit of meal prep for that day, but you guard that first hour of the day and look after yourself for that first hour of the day. It's powerful. You go, and science shows that you go into your day with more positivity. You're less reactive and less stressed as you go into your day, which makes perfect sense, right? So that first hour is truly amazing, and getting that workout in, that's the best time to get it. Because if you don't get it in the morning, I know that you're not going to get it in. It's going to be way harder later in the day.
Hi, it's Robert here from the Side Hustle podcast, where hustlers come on trying to get their side hustle going, looking for tips, tricks, and all those lovely things. I'm here with Simone Lovell from Eat, Play, Love, which is not the brand. We were just chatting about that. So welcome.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. I'm honored and I'm so excited to chat.
Yeah, so we were just chatting about the brands and companies. So I gave you the analogy of Nike and Air Jordans. You know, Nike's the company.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. Everybody knows probably Air Jordans is more familiar than Nike, you know, the logo
That's
and everything
right.
else. So Eat, Play, Love. Tell us, let's jump right into it. Tell us
Yeah.
about your brand. You were telling me that your online
Yeah.
presence is under a different brand. So
Well,
tell us all
yeah.
about it and
So,
what you do.
I mean, you're my accountant, so you know me as Eat, Play, Love Fitness. That's my company name. And that's how we started. So when I incorporated, I called myself Eat, Play, Love Fitness, which is what we were all about back then. We started with retreats. And so it was learning how to eat, and then play was the exercise component. And love was, loving your body, loving yourself,
That
meditation.
happened in the evenings on the retreats, I bet, right?
It's a whole nother episode. And so that's how we started. And it then grew into an online digital program where I serve clients and help them learn how to fuel their bodies properly. And so the program now is called Total Body Transformation.
So when did you make that transition to go online? Because you say you
Mhm.
started Eat Play Love is like a great brand. It could be a brand, but Total
Yeah.
Body Transformation is what it's evolved into. When you jumped online, did you change that brand or come up with Total Body Transformation? And when did you go on? When did you make that decision to
Yeah.
go online? Was it a COVID thing or?
No, we lucked out because, and when I say we, it's really me at the time. And now we've evolved into a company of 13 people who work together. But when we went online, it was 8 years ago now. So that is the end of 2017. And at the time, I was working full time in a gym. So I was serving my clients there and coaching them through their workouts. I was also helping them with their nutrition. I've been a strength and conditioning coach and nutritionist since I was, really young. So 18 years old. I don't want to say how long that is. I just want to say when I got it, so I don't age
If
myself.
you're
But
listening, if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
listening on the audio here, then she still looks 18. So you got to catch it on YouTube or Spotify.
It's the food. It's the food. So I started young, and I just knew that this was, my passion. This was something that I wanted to do for myself. I always have been so interested in learning the latest workout techniques and also the latest way to fuel our bodies effectively. I'm not into fad diets. I'm into finding out, what is the right way to fuel ourselves so that we can have the most energy for our day and also the most energy to crush our workouts. So I was working from the age of 18 to well into my 30s in the gym. And I was feeling like I wanted to do more. It was so hard working with a client one-on-one for 1 hour, maybe 3 times a week at most. And putting them through a hard workout, but at the same time trying to coach them through their nutrition and trying to coach them through a full, holistic, healthy lifestyle. It was tricky and I felt like I needed to do more. So that's when I started to go online, and I felt like with an online program, it could be comprehensive, right? We could do everything. And then in between those hours that they're at the gym, they can learn all the other pieces that are really, really going to help them. How can they cleanse effectively? How often should they be cleansing? What about sugar? How can we effectively remove sugar from our diet for the most part? Things like gluten, how does that factor in? What about macros? What about, right? So there are so many pieces to that nutrition component, and I was able to cover that. So that was 2017, and then COVID did hit in 2020, and it was kind of like the best thing that happened for our business and our clients, because everybody had to move online, right? So gyms were no longer an easy place to go to or a safe place for a lot of people. And so they wanted to go online. And you know what? It was the best thing because now people were realizing that they can work out at home. Robert, like you and I can both agree, like you have a fitness background as well, but we can both
Yeah,
agree
it's
that if you,
if you can see the
right,
picture, it's
right there. There's Robert in all his glory. And so, like now I was showing people that when you work out at home in the morning, right, you get it done first thing in the day. There's no, getting to the gym, which will take a minimum of 15 minutes by the time you find parking and then check in, put your stuff in a locker, right? You're taking valuable time out of your day versus rolling out of bed, putting on your runners and getting your workout in your living room, and you're done within 20 to 30 minutes. And
when
so
I
take
started boxing when I was in I was still working because as an amateur athlete in Canada, you mostly fund your own aspirations. But I remember watching a video, and only analogies because I was boxing. It was Mike Tyson, and he had this saying that he said he would get up at 4:30 in the mornings, and there's a video of him. I think it was a biography done on him on a TV show where he cameraman gets a video of him getting out of bed at 4:30, hitting the alarm clock, and just rolling out of bed and going out on the road running. So I started getting up before work to train, and I
mm,
was starting at 7 a.m. for work. I remember, and I would get up at 4:30 only to emulate Mike Tyson. His. But you try and emulate people that are successful.
yes,
And looking back on it, I never thought about this until you just mentioned it. Looking back on it, maybe because I was a lot younger as well. But I thought at the beginning I would be so tired during the day for getting up earlier. And all it did, it just moved my sleep cycle. So I started going to bed a little bit earlier, and I had so much energy during the day. So there is some truth to it, folks.
amazing.
Don't just take it from Simone.
Yeah,
There is some
that
truth to
is,
it.
and that is one thing that I work on with my clients is we learn about guarding that first hour of the day and waking up earlier. A lot of my clients are women, they have kids, and so they start with waking up with their kids. And their whole day is chaos from there, right? Like you have to make their lunches while you're dealing with them, trying to get them out of the door, get to school. It's just nuts. Versus waking up 1 hour before, where you just take care of you. You put your phone away, right? You could meditate. You can get your workout in, maybe do a little bit of meal prep for that day, but you guard that first hour of the day and look after yourself for that first hour of the day. It's powerful. You go and science shows that you go into your day with more positivity, you're less reactive and less stressed as you go into your day, which makes perfect sense, right? So that first hour is truly amazing, and getting that workout in, that's the best time to get it, because if you don't get it in the morning, I know that you're not going to get it in. It's going to be way harder later in the day.
We need to put an affiliate link on
Yeah.
our on the channel here. Get your alarm clock, the early morning riser alarm clock, or
Love it.
Eat, Play, Love
Yes.
alarm clock. You got to get an affiliate link on yours and do some videos about that and say hit the link below if you want to get your early morning riser alarm clock.
Alarm clock. Do people use alarms anymore though? We just have our
Well, they
phones,
have
right?
their phones.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, most
it
people.
will be
I don't
easier
think
to,
people have alarm clocks, but the phones are good. But
yeah.
I made the habit of moving the alarm clock back then. I remember it used to be on the night table, and I moved it on the desk at the far end of the room. It would force
So
me to get
smart.
up and I'd have my shoe set up like a fireman. I have my shoe set up. So I would just get up and I would go out, and some mornings I would run, some mornings I'd do fitness, out at the park. I had a park close by where I was living, and I did all my training outdoors, rain or shine. And
which makes you really tough. So that's something that I love teaching about is this resilience muscle, this mental resilience muscle that comes when you work out first thing in the morning and you do something hard first thing in the day too, right? So your workout is set up to be a little bit hard, a little bit challenging, right? And that makes you tougher. Going outside, rain, shine, cold, right? It makes you tougher. And I believe that that actually sets you up to have a really, really strong, resilient day where fires are being thrown at you and it just bounces right off because you've already proven to yourself that you're capable of doing hard things.
yeah, I like that. I like that. So, you started when you were 18, before you got in the fitness industry, let's say high school, around 18, maybe middle
Yeah.
school. Were you involved in sports? Were you
No,
athletic before that?
no, this is the funny part. I used to forge my mother's signature and get out of every single PE class, a physical ed class in elementary school and high school. Like I maybe went to five out of my
Back
entire high school career. But here's the thing.
back when they
So,
didn't have cell phones where they could reach your mother
yes,
directly. I got a funny
exactly.
story. After you're done, I got a funny story about that as well.
Yeah, but it was interesting because I hated it. I didn't want to work out. I was, it was like something absolutely
Icky.
not for me.
Back
Yes.
then it was icky.
Yes, it was icky, it was geeky, it was totally not me. But here's the amazing thing is that my mother was a really great role model because even though we were not close and we did have a very hard relationship growing up, she worked out every single day and I would see her and how committed she was to her workouts.
So is that where
And
it comes from?
it came from that. And so when I was 18, I headed to UVic on the island, so University of Victoria, for those of you who don't know. And I had to fend for myself for the first time in my life. And I started making my own meals. And I gained 35 pounds in 1 year. And that was when I was like, okay, maybe I should start working out. And that's how it happened. That's how it started. So I started working out and I fell in love with it. I fell in love. I lost the weight quickly. I was like, okay, but I love this. I love how great this makes me feel. I love how strong I feel in my body and how much energy I now have for my day. And I started teaching classes and then working one-on-one with clients at that age. But it all came from basically gaining weight and then remembering my mother who was that role model for me. So that's like kind of a message for some parents out there, if your kids are, you see them as lazy, they're playing video games and you're worried about them, do the work yourself. And Brene Brown will talk about always like we are modeling constantly and our
Lead by
kids are
example. Lead
watching.
by example.
Absolutely. They're watching, even if they're not doing right now.
I was the opposite. I was in every sport growing up. Football, baseball, hockey,
I can
14-year
see
boxing
that.
career. But when I was in high school, I never missed a day of high school for the first 3 years. I only went to high school for 3 years. I left after grade 11. But for the first 3 years, the first year, I remember Laurentian High School in Ottawa in the auditorium, they had an award every year. They had at the end of the year the ceremonies, and they had awards for sports, for academics. I never made that one, let's just say. But they had one for attendance. And there was about 800, a smaller high school, about 800 students. In the first year, there was about 40 of us that
Yeah.
got the award. But then when I went to grade 10, you start in grade 9 in Ontario. So go to grade 10, there was only about 20 of us. Grade
Wow.
11, there was only 5 of us that had maintained that perfect attendance record for the 3 years. And that summer, after I got the award, we were at a barbecue with my mother. So I was about 17 years old, and I still remember her boss's name. He had a barbecue. He had it every year, in the summer for all his staff. She was worked in the government. And I was telling him he said, Rob, how's it going in school? I heard you got an award. So my mother must have been bragging. So I said, yeah, I said, perfect attendance. And I told him that story. The third year, there was only like 5 of us that got it. I've never missed a day. So he says, Lynn, come here. She was on the other side. And she comes running over. She says, what's up? Rob tells me he got perfect attendance, and he's got his arm around me. He says, "So tell me, Lynn, what were all those sick days you took off for Rob for?" Because she would call into work and say, "Rob's sick. Rob missed school, or Rob's sick this week. He can't go to school, so I got to stay home and watch him." She used
Oh my
all her
gosh.
government leave. And he was laughing. And I still remember a friend of hers, Bernice Miller, like this is 35 years ago. She was
Wow.
drinking. I remember she had a bottle of beer. She laughed hard. She spit her beer out. So Bruce was the boss, but a good guy,
That's
office joker.
amazing.
But she
I
got
love that
busted.
story.
She got busted.
Oh,
But some people are athletic in sports, and I
yeah.
say sports, you have to have like physical dexterity, coordination. Some people are
Yeah.
just athletes; they love running. But you did none of that before high school. But you saw your mother, and you had this turning point. Do you think people have to hit that turning point before they reach out to someone like you? When should somebody reach out? This is a little push
That's a
for some
great
business.
question. Well, I get a lot of clients that reach out to me and they say these exact words: Simone, I have tried every single diet. I have tried keto, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, paleo. I mean, like every single one, intermittent fasting, every single one. And I lose the weight, I gain weight. I lose the weight, I gain weight. I lose the weight, I gain more weight. And now I am at my wit's end. Yeah, it's a roller coaster. I'm at my wit's end, and you're literally my last hope. I get this. I'm telling you, I get this
No
more times than
pressure,
I
no
can count.
pressure at
It
all.
is. But I'm so confident in my program because I see it now, work for so many people. I just ran a summit recently. And it was our first real summit where we had almost our entire community come out for it. It was so beautiful to have almost everybody there in one room. And this woman comes up to me and she goes, Simone, and exactly that. I had tried every single diet. I was so frustrated. And then I came to you. You were literally my last hope. And I released 100 pounds in 1 year. And I've kept it off for 5 years. She's been in the program for 6 years. And it was such a beautiful moment for me to actually like meet one of our clients in person. Like I get to meet, everybody virtually all the time, but in person, and to hug her and to see, what this has done for her life and the ripple effect for her kids and her husband and how she is living and her best life and looking and feeling her best. But I'm so confident that once you learn, because my program is not just here's a menu plan, follow the menu plan, see you later. That will maybe give you a little bit of results, and then you stop the program because most of the programs are not sustainable. And then, right, you're left to your own devices and you can't figure it out. My program is all about equipping you with the tools and the knowledge so that you understand how food works. And I know that once you understand how food works, then you go to the buffet, then you go to the restaurant, the holiday, fly on an airline, go on a cruise, whatever, and you're not stuck. You understand how food works and you can put it together every single time you look at a plate of food and you're never confused ever again. And that is true success. And that's why our clients are losing weight and then keeping it off long term. I always say, I'm not interested in helping you lose weight for the short term. That's not success to me. Success is losing the weight, understanding how you lost the weight, and then keeping it off long.
That's pretty amazing. So take us through for the listeners, those watching maybe on YouTube. A typical you just talked about, a success story, but let's talk about a typical person coming in to work with you. Keep it pretty broad,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
basic steps. There's a sign up
There's
process, kind of like
yeah,
in the financial, right? We do a
yeah.
review, a diagnosis. Walk us
Yeah.
through it.
So these are some of these things you can do at home right now. Okay. The first step is quitting sugar. So for 7 days, we quit sugar cold turkey. There's absolutely no sugar. And the crazy thing is that there is sugar hidden in so many foods, right? So we learn about where that sugar is hidden and learn how to
Let's
cut it
talk
out.
about some of the hiding spots. I mean, I know you go into the
Yeah.
candy store, everything has sugar, but some of the places where sugar's hidden, a couple.
Spices, pasta sauces, salad dressings. I mean, it's crazy. Like you can look at almost any packaged product that you have in your pantry. I'm gonna say it has either sugar in there or a fake sugar, which is even worse. That's the other thing is a lot of us are like,
Wow.
okay, well, I'm having, a diet pop. There's no sugar in it, but there's aspartame. Well, aspartame has been shown to cause many diseases, and it's actually more addictive than sugar itself. I'll tell my clients I'd rather you have sugar any day than have a fake sugar like aspartame
And how
sorbitol.
about, those that say, oh, well, it's brown sugar, and let's go there. And also fruits, uh,
Right?
Jesse
Fruit is,
Jesse
yeah,
Itzler has been on a fruit diet. Anybody who doesn't know him, Marquis Jets, I'll put the link, if Grace
yeah.
can put the link below. But Jesse Itzler talks about just eating fruits until noon. But
Beautiful. I love fruit. Fruit, I mean, we're very strategic about the type of fruit that we're having in our program at each phase, because you want to be strategic about it. And there's low glycemic fruit that basically don't spike your blood sugar levels too high. So you want to be strategic about that. But I love fruit. I love all types of fruit. And once you're through the program, so once you're through all phases of the program, that's around 12 weeks, we introduce all the fruit back in. So there's tropical fruit, high glycemic, low glycemic. It's all how you pair that fruit with other foods. So here's the big mistake, Robert, that most people make is that they have something called naked fruit. You heard of this before?
well, that's where the eat, play, love part comes in, right? The naked part. That's
Exactly,
the,
the
the
naked part.
love part of eat, play,
Maybe
love.
you were going to go there. So naked fruit is something like a banana. So you're running out the door and you just grab a banana, right? Well, what that does is even if it's just an apple, which is a low glycemic fruit, it is still going to spike your blood sugar levels because you're not pairing it with a protein and a fat to elongate the blood sugar
Mm.
curve. So you really do want to make sure when you're having something like fruit that you're always pairing it with a protein and fat, and that will make it balanced. So yeah, so the first phase is quitting sugar because that's going to help to detox the body and help remove this sweet tooth that a lot of people have. A lot of people come to the program and they're not in control of their food, right? Their cravings are so high that they're not even able to eat healthy, right? Because they're always looking for that sugary sweet something. So we need to get that under control, and that's why we do the quit sugar challenge for 7 days. Then we move into 13 days of detoxing. This is where I teach you how to cleanse the body effectively. We cleanse the liver, we cleanse the gut, and
Why not
this
14 days?
I know 13 was more fun. I don't
Was
know.
it?
There's 3 days. There's 3 days for the liver and 10 for the gut. So it's very strategic. We actually put this detox together with a integrative health practitioner, Sonia Christie, and it is beautiful. The meals are wonderful. They're delicious. You're not feeling hungry at any point, but it effectively detoxes you while you are cleansing. So you're
So there's
flooding the body with very specific nutrients.
special
Very specific
foods,
nutrients.
and
Yes.
that's something that your team puts together as part of the plan.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So important. And I actually cleanse every month for 1 to 3 days with our community, but we do this 13-day detox with each season of the year, so 4 times a year. Okay. But
Is
if
that
somebody
similar
wanted,
to I've heard of liver cleanse, or
yeah,
the
similar,
cod
but
liver
we
oil?
actually use, yeah, we use food, right? And we do lower protein, lower fat, so it actually gives your body the ability to cleanse. That's the problem with other cleanses out there is they still include a lot of fat, so you're not going to cleanse the body effectively. But if somebody listening right now to this wanted to start cleansing right now, a simple thing that you can do is drink more water. So water is in a crazy effective way to cleanse the body and help you lose weight, help you increase energy. I mean, it does all the things. If your cells are dehydrated, and our body's made up of around 70% water, if your cells are dehydrated, your body's going to start breaking down. You're going to have aches and pains in your body, you're going to have low energy, you're going to gain weight. So right here, this is like trick number one. It's such an easy place to start because it's free. It's not hard to do. It doesn't take extra time, right? So everybody should be drinking water and starting with 8 cups of water minimum. That's like the bare minimum.
Let's not do too deep a dive into the water, but we
Yeah.
have a lot of clients that work with Kangen, the Enagic water, Kangen water. Is there any truth to that? Let's dispel some of the beliefs.
Oh, I actually haven't done a lot of research into Kangen, but I do believe in filtered water. So some type of filter is important, and even if you're just starting out with a Brita, but then do some research and find something that works for you because there's such a range, right? Brita's like
Don't
$30.
hate on me for bringing up Kangen
No,
listeners
there's
because
such a
apparently
range.
it's a great product.
Yeah.
I also heard that Chilliwack, there's a ravine in Chilliwack that comes off of a charcoal shelf on this field, and they've been precluded from participating in the world's purest water contest every year. Apparently, the water there, because it runs through the charcoal, the
It's
natural
clean.
charcoal comes out the other side so pure, nothing reads on the spectrum. I don't know
Well, and
where it
that's
is, but
right here in
apparently it's in
Chilliwack.
Chilliwack, Abbotsford or Chilliwack. I'm gonna
I'm
have
going
to
to
look that
Chilliwack.
up.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that I feel like is it's so individual because there's such a price variation, between the filters, but definitely filter your water, even
I,
if it's the most basic kind.
I heard an analogy, you don't drink bottled water because of the plastics, but here I
Yes.
heard this funny thing on Instagram. The guy was talking about economics, and he said the same bottle of water, if you sell it in the middle of the desert, is going to be 100 times more valuable than if you buy it at Costco. But it's the same bottle, so it's the
Yeah.
environment you put yourself in as well. So
Yeah.
maybe the last thing on water,
Right.
what's the difference between tap water and bottled water and boiled water? Anything you can recommend to the listeners? We got the expert here. We're going to hear
Yeah.
it firsthand.
Yeah. Well, oh, which one would I go? Tap water, boiled water, or a bottled? I don't like the bottled water because of the plastic. So I actually would go for tap over bottled any day. Right? The plastics you're getting into like mimicking hormones and estrogens, like not great,
Filter,
especially for
filter the
female.
water and boil it, maybe.
Yeah, and yeah, boiling it, distilling it, and leaving it out. Apparently, if you take tap water and you just pour it and then leave it out on the counter, some of the impurities will actually just diffuse into
Or
the
on the
air.
windowsill.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I mean, it's a really broad topic, but I just actually did my own research, and I ended up going for it's called Kinetco. I can send you the link, and it's by Cube. So
Let's
Kube.
we'll put that in the links below. Make
Yeah,
sure you get
yeah,
it. You
yeah.
can
And it
read the
attaches to your faucet and it's very like, so I'm not affiliated with them, but I've done quite a bit of research and I just wanted something that would work for me and my household. And I think that one's going to be a good one.
well, if you're not, I'm going to get an affiliate code because we have a
Yeah.
lot of affiliate marketers on our podcast. So
There you
no,
go.
we don't drive any revenues from our podcast. It's 100% for the listeners. So you have the cutting out sugar,
Yeah.
detoxing with water. What's the next step?
The next step is to learn all about macros. This will be the game changer. If you don't understand macronutrients, you will never understand your food. You will be confused till the day you die and you will always struggle with your weight. I know it. So macronutrients, very simply, if you've never heard this before, it's simply your proteins, your carbs, and your fat. Okay. And what we do is we balance these with a very specific percentage depending on your goals. So this is where, individually we're working with our clients to determine how many grams of protein they should be having, how many grams of carbs, and how many grams of fat. Okay. And this right there is when you do that, like you look at a plate of food and you are never confused ever again on what to put on your plate. And it just simplifies it for you. Then beyond macros, we get into workouts. Now, this is a piece that I love to talk about all day long, and I'm sure you do as well. But most of us are working out incorrectly. I see so many people say, I got to get healthy, I got to get fit, and they go for a long run. Or they head to the gym and they jump on the elliptical for 45 to 60 minutes, or they head to their favorite HIIT class and they're going for 60 minutes hard. Now, this might be a little bit different for me and you because you're male, but female, if you're over the age of 35, we're working with hormones. And naturally, as a woman, you're going to increase your levels of cortisol and decrease your levels of estrogen as you age, especially over the age of 35 and especially over the age of 40. 40 is when we get into perimenopause years. So really important that we work to balance our hormones. Now, when we go to do that hard exercise class or that long run or that long elliptical session, we're raising that cortisol even higher. So we've already got high cortisol because of our hormones, and now we're raising it even more. And then you raise it again because life is stressful. That's your stress hormone, right? So now we've got this crazy elevated level of cortisol in our body, which prevents fat loss. The cortisol is our fat loss hormone. So if you want to get this under control, you need to be bringing that cortisol level back to normal. And the best way to do that is not with the long workouts and not with the super, super hard long workouts. It's 20 to 30 minutes and through HIIT training and strength training. So a real mixture of both. And that's what we practice in our community.
Wow, it's really breaking it down. So is it a one-stop set and go? Or for example, with the detoxing, does it change each month depending on how you're progressing and with the fitness side as well? And what's
So
your typical let's say package? Let's get in, tell us about what you have to offer. A typical
yeah,
package. How long you work with somebody? Is it a set time or is it a goal specific? Let's hear it.
yeah. So when we work with someone, it is for sure for 3 months. So we used to have the program where you could join and you could join for a month and then drop off. But we learned that you're not going to get results in 30 days. And if you do, you're not going to understand why you got the results. So we wanted to keep you around for those first important 12 weeks where we can actually teach you the science behind what you're doing and get you to adopt these habits because really it's about habits, right? It's about learning how to wake up a little bit earlier, learning how to get the workout in and actually doing it. And science shows us that it takes 30 days on average to start creating a habit and 90 days of consistency for that habit to become a part of you, where it's just like brushing your teeth. You wouldn't question why you would get your workout and you would just get it in because you've been doing it. Right. And in my experience, truthfully, it's more like 12 to 18 months of doing the same thing day in and day out that actually leads to long-term successful habits, but 90 days minimum. So this is why we changed from, working with us for 4 weeks to a minimum of 12 weeks. And in that time, we take you through that process. So this is really a process, right? It's a 4-phase program. And then after that, you have the choice of staying on with us to continue with those daily habits, or you can work on it on your own and move on.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you're watching here on Spotify or on YouTube, there's going to be some links somewhere around the video here, most likely below or beside if you're on Spotify, with Simone's bio, some links about some of the things we are chatting about. The most important link is, how does somebody get onto your website and reach out to you?
Yeah, so very simply, you just go to the site. It's my name, SimoneLovell.com. And also Instagram. I have so much free content on Instagram, tons of recipes, some workout ideas as well. So if you're just kind of, you want to get a sense of what you could do on your own right now just to get started, that's a really great place to start. And that's at Simone N Lovell. So there's an N between my first name and last name.
Awesome. And we always ask our guests, if you have a favorite book, something that's inspired you. It doesn't have to be business related, could be a health book or.
I do. It's a book that my business coach suggested I read, and it truly changed my life. So my business coach is Di Manuel, and you know him well. So I look at this book like there was my life before this book, and then my life after this book. That's how life changing it was, and it's called The Big Leap. I forget the author. I'll think of it. But The Big Leap, we can put it in the comments too. But this book is all about how to overcome self-sabotage. And within the first chapter of this book, I remember realizing, oh my gosh, this is me. I'm self-sabotaging every step of the way. And as soon as I read that book, it was crazy. My whole life turned around. And I feel like it's been the backbone of my business, truly, and the way that I teach my program as well.
Gay Hendricks.
Thank you, Gay Hendricks. He's
Oh,
amazing. And
it's not me. I had to Google it. Thank God for
thank
Google.
you. And on Audible, I like listening to books too, and it's his voice. And
Wow.
it's a beautiful voice. I've listened to the book probably 50 times. And
You can do
anytime
that with AI now. You can actually give a
yes,
sample voice and you can have your own voice on your book.
you don't even have to read
Just
it.
like our
I
book.
know.
Our book is going to be in the links below.
I can't wait.
And we
I
have
can't wait.
an upcoming book too that I believe you are going to be a part of.
I'm so excited. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I know. I can't
How's
wait.
that coming along?
It's done. I sent it to you.
I know. So we'll put some teasers. We'll put some teasers in
Okay.
the link below. You might get some complimentary tips from the book, and that will be available in ebook and hard copies through print on demand as well. That book coming up is called The Tax Saving Bible. MrTaxes.ca/TSB if you want to get in or check the links below. But it's some stories about entrepreneurs and how they, overcome adversity in their business, but more importantly, how to minimize the amount of tax that the government's taking from us.
Mm-hmm.
Allow
Mm-hmm.
our businesses
Yeah.
to thrive and stay out of the way.
Yeah. You've taught me so much. I'm so grateful. And I really feel like that's why my business is still alive today is because of you. Truly.
Yeah,
It's
nine
it.
out of 10 businesses
Yeah.
fail, on the
Yeah.
financial side. And you were talking about diets. A lot of people go on a financial diet as well. They try something out for a little while and then they're back to the old habits. But I really take into heart all the information we've got today. A lot of things I've learned, after knowing you for many years, some things,
Yeah.
really about your business. And that's why we bring guests on the show is,
Yeah.
promote them, get, drive some business, keep the economy going, but more importantly, health.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been such an honor to be here, and I really hope that, some of it is has been helpful for the listeners as well.
Yeah, some simple steps. So go back and replay it. Anything coming up? What's up? When's your next challenge, your next launch? Black Friday's over.
Black
What's up
Friday's
next?
offer, it's going to be in the new year, but everything will be up on the site there. And we're also launching a new program in the new year that I know people are going to be really excited about.
Okay,
I
well,
can't I can't say anything yet, but I promise it will be so exciting. So just
yeah,
stay tuned to the
stay
website.
tuned for more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll finish it off. We'll let you, Simone, give the last word. Any last words of advice for our listeners on their health or
Mhm.
love journey?
Yeah. Well, on the health and love journey and loving yourself more is make yourself a priority. So there's, this old adage, put your oxygen mask on first before anybody else's, right? They tell you to do that on every single flight. Why do they have to remind you on every single flight to put your oxygen mask on first before your loved ones? Because intuitively, we will always think to put the right. And the same goes for every piece of our health journey. We're always thinking about how can we give to others, especially if you're a mom or dad, you're like, how can I look after my family? How can I give to everyone else first before myself? And what I would love to leave you with is put that oxygen mask on first. Look after yourself first. This is not selfish. This is you filling up your cup, filling up your tank, giving back to yourself, giving back to your health so that you have enough energy and love and all the things to give everybody around you. I promise you, everyone else around you will benefit when you put your oxygen mask on first.
Thanks so much, Simone. We'll see everybody on the next episode.
Thanks, Robert.
I'm just gonna record, but I'm gonna share my screen for a second, just show you some of the history that we have.
Okay, great.
Little known secret here, MrTaxes.ca/podcast. Look,
Oops.
you gotta put the / in, I think.
There we go.
So they're all links to YouTube, but we have all our episodes on our site.
Very professional.
So somebody can listen on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. But we also get a link here to be the next guest. So we've had a lot of people signing up.
Oh, wow.
We kind of screen them now. We only want big names like you.
Uh, and Brian Tracy, me and Brian Tracy.
Yeah, you and Brian,
Yeah,
you guys are tight.
yeah, we're tight. We'll come on together next time.
Yeah, you rub shoulders, give him some tips.
Pretty much. Absolutely. He needs all the tips.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So what's been going on?
Not just so busy, but so many good things going on. So
Awesome. Yeah, well, we'll
yeah.
cover that. So when we start,
Okay.
I'll say we'll roll
Okay.
but I know lots of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's all under the Eat Play Lo or Eat Play.
No, that's the business name. But my
Yeah,
actual name is like of the program is Total Body Transformation.
total body transformation.
Yes.
Wow, it's totally encompassing of a brand. I use the
Yes.
analogy. Some people say, "What's a brand?" What's a? I came up with this in Toronto. We were meeting with the Canada Life, the big insurance company, and I said,
Mm.
the the company is Nike, but the brand is Air Jordan. Everybody
That's
says Air
so
Jordan.
true.
You know, that's the shoes.
Then you know.
They do 700 million or Michael Jordan still brings in almost 700 million a year in royalties.
Wow.
Just royalties. So how much do they sell? Air Jordan merchandise. You know, the
Like next
jackets, the
level.
hats, the shoes. You should have
That's next level.
you should have that for your brand, selling merch.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's coming. It's coming.
That's
There's
the
just
next. Yeah, I
yeah.
know. So much to do, so much to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll roll and
Okay.